Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we're going over the Greater Phoenix Metropolitan Housing Statistics for the week ending May 16th, and let's get right into our numbers. Taking a look across the board, we have 27 days closed on market, a 1.13 month supply, 88% absorption rate, an $815,000 average list price, and a $596,000 average sale price. List price to sale price retention is shrunk to 101.47. Good news there. Active inventory, wow, 12% increase in active available product. We're sitting at 8,945 units right now. Pending is sitting at 4,674. And our closed units month to date at 3,826. New listings this past week, 2,486 listings taken. This is, the same. If we take a look at this number, we're going to compare this in just a moment. But taking a look at this particular number here, this is great. This is similar to a pre-COVID period of time. That's awesome to take close to 2,500 listings. That's what was necessary. Days on market for active inventory sitting at about 61 days and closed at as brisk as 27 days. In our price ranges in the bottom right hand side, you'll notice that under 500,000 is now representing 46%. That's ever shrinking ever so much. That was as low as 44% and as high as 54%. Pre-COVID, that was about 72% of our entire MLS inventory. However, it's not that necessarily the properties have gone away and we're not replenishing them. The problem is the increase in the prices has pushed those, for $399,000 to $400,000 properties now into the $500,000 to $1 million range because of the 20% increase in appreciation we had last year, increases in the property values. So again, this is why it's moving out of the under 500 and it's moving into the $500,000 to $1 million category, which is now as high as 38%, as high as it's ever been. This normally is somewhere around 25% of the market. So this is really where those properties are going, are ending up in that 500 to a million category. And then of course $1 million and up, and there's many categories beyond $1 million, but this encompasses all of those categories, represents $1,743 million plus properties, averaging about 78 days on market, which is super fast, and it represents about 15% of the market when this used to only represent about 10% of the market. Taking a look at our spreadsheet, this is where we are able to see week over week and month over month. Going down through to understand how the sheet's laid out, we look in the very, very middle of there's the column called 2019 SW. That's the same week in 2019. And to the left in the salmon color is 2021 SW. That means the same week in 2021. We didn't do 2020. We decided to stay with 2019 because 2019 was a banner year. Pre-COVID, there was no signs of COVID whatsoever. 2019 was an incredible year. So 2,486 listings we took this past week, in comparison the same amount, ironically, as we did last week. So 24, those numbers staying in that same price range, that same not price range, but in that same number range, just means that there are there's nobody out there right now. These people that are listing their homes, the same amount of properties that were listed back, obviously, you can see in 2019 was only 2,200. In 2021 was 2,200. So what are we really looking at here? What we're looking at is there are as many people, of course, this week in comparison, there are more people listing their homes today than there were in 2021. So, there's this myth going on in the industry that sellers will not sell because they don't know where they're going to go. Although that may be a true primal objective, is trying to find that house that they are going to go to. We are still listing as many houses right now as we ever have, and of course that's a good sign because it means the market is stable from that perspective. Looking at active inventory, we're up to 8,945 properties versus 7,900 the week before. So that little boost helped us significantly. Look at last year. Last year we were at 5,853 properties available, and so consequently we are over 3,000 more properties in the market today than we were a year ago. 934 coming soon properties, 7,400 single family detached versus 6,566 the week before. And look to the right of that, 4,549 last year. So we have, again, almost 3,000 single family detached properties more today available than we did last year. Taking a look, 983 of those are of the 8,945 are new construction, and then 8,917 of those, representing 12.1% of the entire MLS database, are non-distressed. So if you look to the left, or I should say that's a 12.1% increase. You look to the left, 99.7% of the entire MLS, which basically, again, means that we have less than 0.3 of 1% default properties. Everybody says, oh my gosh, everybody's defaulting. Nobody's defaulting. Everybody has over 30%, many, most, the average, over average, have over 30% equity in their home today. And with the iBuyers, a phone call away, OfferPad, Open Door, all the other different companies, REI Venture, Blackstone Properties, all these different entities, these pension fund monies that just have billions of dollars waiting to acquire people's homes. Yeah, you're going to take 20% less, but the fact is you've got 30% equity, so if you were in trouble and you needed to get rid of your home, you could and still have equity left over. But that's not happening in the marketplace today. There are very few, if any, default properties. Under contingency sales, also pending, under contract, accepting backup offers, 4,674 of those. This is the way we gauge how many people are actually in the marketplace today doing business. We've got 3,000 more homes. Why don't we have 3,000 more properties in escrow if we had such a frenzy going on? And that's because the market's cooling off. So we slide our eyes to the right. You can see 5,851 people were in the marketplace a year ago. 6,500 people were in the marketplace. I'm talking about had offers on properties in escrow. So when we see 4,674 people today with 3,000 more properties in the marketplace, we're also saying there is much less of a demand right now than there have been in the last few months. So again, we're seeing this cooling off. Slide your eyes way over to the right. You'll see again 5,800 last year, 6,400, 6,500 3 years ago. We finished last month. Slide your eyes to the right. We reported this last week. 6,840, 7,144 in March. So all of a sudden, we're 3,000, 2,500 people off. The market's going down. Taking a look at closed inventory, 3,826 for the month, and we're not excelling here yet. 4,422 last year this same period, 4,795 back in 2019. So again, we are at a fraction, close to a double-digit fraction. It shows a double-digit today, but we'll have to wait till the end of the month, and obviously more properties come in to close at the end of the month than they do mid-month. So that's why the numbers are a little, maybe 13%. But we're going to average 8%. We'll see. But again, that's where we're at right here in meeting of the minds that have closed month to date. So we have a 1.13 month supply. Great news, over a month supply. And this is consistent with last week, which we were over a month. If you remember last week when we reported, we said, oh my gosh, let's see if this is actually happening or whether it's an anomaly, a fluke. And we are now at the second month in a row where we are above a 1 month supply. Look to the right, we were at a 0.75 months, 0.77 months supply, 3/4 of a month supply a year ago, and we were at a 1.88 back in 2019. So we are basically right in that no man's land, right in that middle ground. 88.4% absorption rate versus 130% last year. 815,000 is the average sale price. That's come down a little bit, about $1,000. Remember, the average list price and average sale price that we talk about in these statistics are based on the properties that obviously have closed month to date. That's where this number comes. This isn't talking about all the properties in the entire greater Phoenix metro market have gone up or down this amount of money. This is just the properties that have closed. But when we start seeing that there is a reduction, it tells us that, there's also people aren't necessarily paying that much over right now either. 595,909, also a little bit, of a number there. We also have 61 days on market, and our list price to sale price retention is sitting at 101.47. That's down from 102. What does that mean? At the time the seller accepted your offer, accepted the buyer's offer, what was the difference between the list price and the sale price? So a lot of times that's rule of thumb, sliderized way to the left of this chart. You'll see 97.8%. That's about normal. Well, we're at 101.47% right now, and a year ago we were at 101.53%. So that's consistent. The market is consistent, and this is what we're looking for. Is Chicken Little going to fall? Are we going to have significant reductions in pricing? Is there just going to be some volume reduction? We did a complete report on that based on NAR's legislative meetings last week, or a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now, in last week's month end for the month of April. So go back and take a look for that if you'd like to see exactly what's happening in the marketplace in a true way to really interpret what's really happening. And when we hear national news, you have to remember that national news is taking the housing market as a national perspective. There are markets that are hurting. There's markets that they're experiencing, super hyperinflation. So it depends. You're being able to work with a realtor here in Arizona, someone that has local, hyper local, down to the community, hyper local experience. That's what you're looking for when you're trying to select a realtor, and why I would never buy a home. Of course I wouldn't, but I would never want to buy a home without a realtor. There's just too many things happening in the marketplace today. Sellers want buyers to waive everything. Buyers shouldn't waive everything. Realtors shouldn't recommend to buyers they waive everything. That could be considered potentially a violation of their fiduciary duty to their client by recommending to them that they waive things like appraisal or inspection periods or SPDSs or things of that nature. So make sure you understand the job description and don't make recommendations that are damaging to your particular client, and don't allow this other side, the seller side, to make those recommendations to your buyer without the buyer seeking legal understanding of how waiving those things might affect their ability after the close of escrow. Very important. The more that you and I are concerned about waiving things, the more the buyers will be concerned about waiving things, and we can correct that market just like that by doing the right thing. So that's my story for this particular week. I appreciate everybody's participation. If I can assist you in absolutely any way, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can reach us a number of different ways, obviously, through Alexa Flash Briefings, through Instagram Television, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. My favorite is obviously youtube.com/West USA Realty. Look for my playlist there, or go to my Facebook page at Todd C. Menard. Anybody needs anything, please reach out to me. I'd certainly be happy to explain the market to anybody. Thanks, guys. Have you a wonderful day. Look forward to talking to you next.